All right, tonight's judges for our forms competition are Dennis Brown from Washington, D.C., Mike McCoy from Orlando, Florida, Nick Smith from New Braunfels, Texas, Holly Ham from Destin, Florida, Drew Derek Bisbee from, they're not telling me, Joey Perry and David Valencia are our forms judges for this evening. Our first demonstration to the stage is the Color Belt Demo Team Competition winners, coached by Will Jackson. They're from San Diego, California. Please welcome Team Freestyle. All right, let's hear it one more time to Team Freestyle. Our next demonstration is the winners of the Team Demo Black Belt Competition, also coached by Will Jackson from San Diego, California. Please welcome Team Freestyle.
good workout can be elusive, disappearing the moment you look away at some other interest in your schedule. Our attention is divided, and life moves quickly. It can pass you by, even as you're living it. But not you. You make it work. You make the time. The fighting spirit haunts you, and you want to keep it close. Right there in your home, where you can keep up the fight. The perfect at-home workout lives on in a new age. The Century Ghost Wavemaster. Ethereal design. Real results.
All right, up next is the 30 and over Forms and Weapons Showdown. And it's going to host some of our most experienced competitors from this weekend's competition. Our first competitor to the stage is from Guatemala City, Guatemala, representing Team Revolution. Please welcome Edgar Cordoba. All right, let's hear it one more time for Edgar Cordoba. Our next competitor to the stage is also from Guatemala. Please welcome Ana Lucia Conde.
pushing. Let's go. Come on. There we go.
All right, let's hear it for Anna and Lucia. Our final competitor to the stage from Brockton, Massachusetts. Nope. Probably on the wrong script. Just read what's in front of me. From Littleton, Colorado, please welcome Kevin Kowalczyk. All right, let's hear it for Kevin Kowalczyk. All right, now we have the scoring for our competitors. So first, we're going to see the scores for Edgar Cordova.
Let's go, Ed!
All right, here we go. We've got the scores. We don't have the scores. There we go. All right, here we go. Scores for Edgar. 9.98, 9.98, 9.98, 9.97, 9.97, 9.99, and 9.98 for Edgar Cordova. And now the scores for Ana Lucia Conde. 9.97, 9.97, 9.97, 9.98, 9.98, 9.97, and 9.97 for Ana Lucia Conde. Now our scores for Kevin K-Swift. 9.98, what? And 9.99 for Kevin, who is your winner and grand champion in the 30s and over boys and weapons showdown. Our award is being presented by Ray Leal, Grandmaster in American Kempo Karate.
Double K Swift taking the senior
competition here at Compete Nationals. Definitely an exciting counter, as you mentioned before, bringing back flares and memories of Mark Canonizato.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on a lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true stock trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
All right, coming up next, our next competition stage is going to showcase some of the up-and-coming talent in the 13 and under girls competition. Our first competitor to the stage is from San Antonio, Texas. Home of the Alamo, and representing Team Competitive Edge, please welcome Cody Molina.
You know, interesting enough, I was just at a work event in San Antonio, Texas, and I did visit the Alamo. Fantastic place if you could ever go see it. A lot of Texas history, United States history there. But Cody Molina is going to go ahead and light this on fire. She and her brother have been really climbing up the charts as of late.
One thing that's fascinating about Cody's performance here, most of the time when you see a traditional bow routine on this world tour, you're going to see competitors using a brown wood stained bow because that's typical and traditional. What Cody's using here is still a wooden bow, but it has been painted completely white. That was a strategic decision that we made so that it would show up better against the black backdrop of the night show stage. So pretty cool to see a little bit of a different color choice for the bow coming out. And if you couldn't tell by the way I described that, Cody is one of my students. So Mallory, you'll have to keep me honest with my commentary.
A little bit of insight there for you, and I will definitely keep you honest, Mr. Rudolph.
Strike combo for Molina. Knee spin, very typical technique to show difficulty in traditional weapons. Executes it beautifully to the one-handed figure eight. Finish it with that strong back fist at the end of the opening section.
So far, so good. Lots of strength in this form, as well as combined speed. You can see every technique pausing at the end to make sure that last strike was quite effective on her opponent.
Another interesting strategic decision by Molina here was choosing to go with music. You'll see a lot of traditional competitors tonight not using music because you wouldn't typically do that for traditional, but Cody trying to match the energy in the room of those CMX performances that will almost always use music. Very interesting choice. As we're getting to the late goings of the form, showing off the leg strength and balance with those last few techniques. Mixing in a front kick, we're in the home stretch.
Very strong ending to her. Very good form by Cody Molina. You know, I do have to agree with the decision to go with a white bow based on the black tarp background of the Compete Nationals. I think that's going to give a little bit of an edge to stand out so you can actually see the strikes more clean.
Isabella Nicoli.
As Isabella Nicolai takes the stage, these two young ladies are going to be going at it all season long. We saw it at the AK Warrior Cup. These two girls are at the top of this 1300 division, and we're going to see them trade back and forth all year in every division, not just weapons, traditional CMX, it doesn't matter. These girls are good at everything.
You know, it's good to have a rival because they're the same age. They're pretty much locked together until adult and will still see each other if they continue to compete after they turn 18. One of the things that I talked to Isabella about, she recently received a $15,000 scholarship to high school. The name of the school escapes me right now, but that's pretty impressive. As I think about it, as my youngest daughter is going to go to high school, it's a little bit heartbreaking for me. I can't believe that time has come so quick, but to have yourself a high school scholarship, you know, sets you just up for success in life. So you can see that Isabella is winning not only on the stage, but also in her educational endeavors.
And as martial artists, we always love to see that. As martial artists, we always preach about character. Isabella shows that through her work ethic, not only on the mat, but in the books as well. And she's nailing this nunchuck routine. Lots of manipulations, great speed, mixing in the tricking. There's a release, changing the direction another time, behind the back, right into the side swipe. More of a D-leg landing on that 540. The leg release with the behind the head catch. That's effectively a blind catch. Very high level of difficulty. And now we can get a sense of how tonight might go with the way that these judges make the decision. With two great competitors like this, sometimes it truly comes down to, are the judges a little bit more of a traditionalist panel, or do they have a taste for flair, right? And we'll get a sense of that, and you know, sometimes that can kind of help you make predictions later in the evening of, is this judge panel going to favor more of the CMX forms, or is it going to lean more traditional? At the AK Warrior Cup in Chicago, we saw a very mixed result throughout the evening. Judges were being going both ways with almost all those divisions.
Molina, 998, 998, 998, 998, 998, 998, and 998.
With that opening volley of 9-8s, it leads us to believe that Isabella will receive 9.99s, and taking this competition just the first, as you mentioned, we will see these young ladies again.
Grand champion, the promoter of the AKA Warrior Cup Sensei John Sharkey will be presenting tonight's Grand Championship Award.
So big congratulations to Isabella Nicolai, our overall Grand Champion, as John Sharkey, coach.
All right, one more time, let's hear it for Cody and Isabella.
Also a happy birthday shout out to John Sharkey, his birthday tomorrow.
Great coach up there, just returning from Chicago last month. I have to say, it's a little bit warmer in California.
But Chicago wouldn't be Chicago if it wasn't cold now.
You're absolutely right. Something about that spirit in the Windy City that tests your mettle as that wind comes down there and makes you hustle to the door a little bit faster.
I said, who's ready to watch some fighting? You gotta bring your A game tonight. All right. Welcome to the stage, our fighting judges. Our center referee is Christine Rodriguez. Corner judges Terry Creamer, Connell Lovelace. Chrissy, you're doing it all by yourself, I think. You got it. Lady Lightning.
And if you recognize that moniker, Lady Lightning, Christine Banner Rodriguez from the WMAC Masters Classic show, if you can find it.
Good to see you. All right. So we're ready. Our competing in tonight's women's sparring overall grand championship, in the red corner, Drew Beatty. Her opponent in the blue corner, Cassandra De La Barrera.
As Drew Beatty takes the stage, she walks to our right with her mom escorting her. It's always great to see, you know, parent-child combination in the martial arts. Both of these ladies fight. They train regularly out there in Utah. Drew Beatty, who is now in grad school studying data science. We had a big tech talk, or as Nick Schneider would refer to it, as a big nerd session earlier today when she was getting her pictures. Looks like Drew is switching. She's going to be on the left in the black headgear, blonde hair
is on your right,
coming out, and Cassandra is on the right side.
All you need to do is pick your favorite fighter.
This is
Cheer 'em on.
Cassandra's second competition as an adult.
Overall grand
She is
championship
brand
fight.
new to the division, and she will definitely have her hands full dealing with these long legs of Drew Beatty. Look for Drew to try to establish dominance with those high head kicks, probably some axe kicks mixed in. Cassandra's going to need to be fast and mobile as the shorter fighter, trying to get on the inside of those legs, maybe unleashing a hand combination to try to score her points. If you're not familiar with point fighting, it's just as simple as this. All hand techniques are 1 point.
All right, here we go,
1
ladies
point.
and gentlemen.
Kicking techniques are 2 points. You
2
must
minutes
score
on the
from
clock.
the waist and above. The entire headgear is a target. There's no ground fighting, and the majority of judges must score for you to get a point. Must agree for you to get a point, rather.
Judges are only going to score if they can see the technique land. So you might see something land on camera. That doesn't mean that the majority of judges are going to see it. Judges can only call what they see. And Drew Beatty is hoping that they see a lot of her techniques tonight as she is trying to defend her title from the 2020 Compete Nationals, the last time that this tournament occurred thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. So Drew Beatty here is trying to defend her title.
Quick exchange. I saw a round kick to the head from Beatty. And looks like the judges agree with me. If you notice, her right foot, her right leg, she's mounting this right leg attack. She was using some hook kicks to gain that edge. When you throw that hook kick, sometimes you can leave that leg out there and it enables you to set yourself up for a back fist really quick. But Beatty's keeping it nice and close because you notice a quick counter side kick from Cassandra. There's an axe kick like we mentioned before, and it's going to be another 2-point kick.
4-0.
You know, this reminds me of one of your older teammates, Pedro Xavier, having to fight with him when I was coming up and competing. Pedro was an absolute master of the axe kick, and one of the things you could not do was get caught underneath that thing. You may think you're fast, and the leg may look like it's just slightly raising, maybe above your shoulder, right above your waist, but just like Pedro, Drew can drop this axe kick in a second, and you're found yourself down 2 more points.
And one of the things that's so dangerous about a fighter who is a great kicker is that the score can get away from you so quickly. Drew's landed 2 techniques. She's already up 4-0.
And looks like that will be 6-0 right now.
2.60.
Those long legs are hard to get around, and what you want to do is you want to shuffle, you want to use fakes, you want to use some fast movement, and believe it or not, with the techniques of Taekwondo, or in Drew's case, Tang Sudo, you want to make sure you're nice and close. By running away from the techniques, you actually give the advantage to the kicker because you will find yourself trying to escape but running into the kick as you try to move away.
So if you're Cassandra at this point in the
Time.
fight, what's going through your head, Mallory? Because it seems like in those last few moments, she was trying to go some kicks of her own to try to maybe stop some of the kicking of Drew. But I mean, strategically, what do? You're down 6-0. The kicks have been landing. How do you stop it?
So she knew at this point she didn't want to give up. She didn't want to go into the second round down by 8. So I like the strategic. You know, it wasn't a retreat. She was strategically advancing, giving Drew the look like she's going to be coming forward and attacking, but she's not willing to concede, giving up another 2 points. So at this point, you know you're 6 points. You're 6 points down. You got to hit the gas a little bit more. What I would do is, you know what? Come out with some quick side kicks. You want to kick right above the belt. Now Drew's going to have her leg going up.
Ready? All right, here we go. Second round.
So you may kick
Right
her
now, she's up
leg,
6.
you may kick her body, but you want to be fast. You want to kick really quick and then move right off the line. So she's going to be spinning. I would suggest spinning over, continue to spin to her right shoulder because Drew's legs with the axe kick are coming down. She does have a quick round kick, but by moving towards Drew's body, you can kind of escape that. Have those hands ready and fire off and get some quick points. It's not over yet. She can still bring this back. As you can see, she's blocking that front leg. She's got a counter right off that. Use the momentum of that roundhouse kick and throw a body punch or even a back fist.
And one thing that I'm noticing here, Mallory, is that the spacing right now is favoring Drew. These fighters are staying pretty far apart, with which,
2 points for
with the reach
Cassandra.
of Drew's legs, that puts Drew at an advantage. Cassandra's going to need to try to tighten that gap in order to land some techniques. Goes for the spin hook kick there, trying to swing the momentum.
That was definitely a well-played technique. Drew definitely had that scouted out. But as you see that Cassandra did score a 2-point kick. Notice she's putting a whole lot more pressure on Drew. And let's see what that was. That last point scored? I couldn't tell, but
6-4.
no, and she did score. So she's cut the lead to 2. So now she's finding her footing. It's like figuring out a puzzle that you just have 4 minutes to figure out. By the way, this puzzle can kick you in your head. It's not the quite same as that 1,000-piece puzzle made by from Target.
And like we talked about earlier, just as quickly as kicks can give somebody a lead and have them pull ahead, they can make for some quick comebacks as well.
1 point.
Looks like she has closed the lead to 1. So little by little, Cassandra is chopping off the bit. Now here's something that we really can't see from here. One of the things that I'm always observing in my opponent is, are they getting tired? Did my last technique, hopefully my legal technique, did it stun them a little bit? I would also hunt to the body. Let's see if you've been doing your crunches. It is tied back up 6-6, so great job by Cassandra.
What a comeback. Wouldn't expect anything less from a disciple of Tony Hamsani of Team Legend, one of the great coaches in the sport right now.
Absolutely. Tony always brings a well stable of warriors wherever they go. And Team Legend, you'll always see them. These guys are hanging together. They're just as big as a team as they are a family. They're always supporting each other. And, you know, it's always great to see that camaraderie among teams.
All right, 15 seconds left. 6-6 score.
So now you see Cassandra swinging way out, creating space. Drew giving up a few. Notice she's moving back. Cassandra's probably setting up for a blitz here. And see, no, she went with the sidekick, double sidekick, and gives Drew a taste of her own medicine and scores a 2-point kick at the end. What a great comeback for Cassandra. She stayed patient. She did not let that opening lead, discourage her.
Let's hear it for Cassandra and Drew.
An 8-0 run in the second round to come all the way back from having 0 points in the first round and get the win. That takes an incredible amount of resilience, as Chris Casamassa, our onside announcer here, compares it to the Tom Brady comeback from down 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry for any of you fans watching from Georgia.
Oof, to my Atlanta fans. Sorry about that, Dirty Birds. But yes, once again, never saying die, keeping in control.
One of the greatest women's fighters of all time, Christine Bannon Rodriguez.
As she should, keeping control at that last second. It's never over until that last second goes off the clock. And, you know, this is a great start for this young lady in her fighting career. Like I said, her second tournament as an adult. I see great things for her in the future.
Our next competition stage will showcase some of the up-and-coming talents in the 1300 boys competition. Our first competitor to the stage is from Key Largo, Florida. Please welcome Sterling Heath.
As Sterling Keefe takes the stage, a new face to the Compete International stage here.
You know, someone that you
Good. All right, here we go. Let's welcome
out there
Sterling
in such a iconic movie as Mortal Kombat.
And after one of the more unusual stoppages of play that I've seen in sport karate, Sterling Keefe is going to do his routine. And if those of you at home could hear that, he just pronounced Anan is the kata that he'll be performing tonight. Strong series of techniques to get things going. You can hear the snap of the uniform. We're sitting all the way at the back of this room. We can still hear that snap.
Speaking of other audio cues, you can hear the breath and the strike every time he is doing those palm strikes.
Nice, let's go.
Beautiful display of pacing and precision so far. one of the important things to remember about watching a traditional competitor is that sometimes we can see a CMX competitor, because of the difficulty of their techniques, they have a little stumble, and depending on the size of the stumble, it may or may not matter. For a traditional competitor to come out victorious, almost without exception, they have to be perfect.
This is true because everyone, or at least one of the judges, have done that kata, have seen that kata, so they know what to expect. And any step out of line, it will be obvious.
A beautiful rendition of a 9 by Sterling Keith.
All right, let's hear it for Sterling Keith. Our final competitor to the stage from San Diego, California, representing Team Freestyle. Please welcome Judah Sagawa.
Judah Sagawa returns to the stage. He first appeared tonight for the team demonstration category, and now he's here for a solo act.
Strong opening by Judah.
Typically, a double full would be enough for most competitors. That's a very high level of difficulty. He one-upped him with the extra hot flash kick after.
You know, it's really amazing to see these young competitors continue to push the envelope with not only their martial arts skills, but with the tricking that is mixed into every CMX performance. It reminds me of the, rather infamous Jam, Joint On Movement Studio that is out here in California, where some of these very tricks are born.
One thing I love about watching Judah is the extension of the hand technique. Sometimes you see great trickers go out there and maybe their back leg's a little bent on their front stances, and maybe they don't fully extend some of their hands. Judah's basics are fantastic, and that's what helps him set himself apart from the rest of the competitors.
And really, at this area of competition, you're really just trying to find, you know, no pun intended, that competitive edge to make you set yourself just slightly above the next person that may come up or the person that went before you.
And so again, we will have the classic duel between the traditional and the extreme.
First, we'll see the scores for Sterling.
Scores for Sterling, 998, 998, 998, 998, 998, 998, and 998. For Sterling. And your scores for Judah are all 9.99, and that makes Judah your 13 and under overall grand champion for the boys forms. Presenting the Grand Championship Award, the promoter of the U.S. Open in Florida, Mr. Mike McCoy. Let's hear it one more time for Judah and Sterling, your next generation of black belt champions. All right, up next is going to be the 18 and over Men's Traditional Weapons Grand Championship. Yes. Yes.
Got one of my favorite divisions coming to the stage here, Mallory.
I wonder why.
Lebanon, Tennessee, representing Team Paul Mitchell. Please welcome Jake Presley.
Jake Presley has been dominant in this traditional weapons division since moving into the adult division, but also before that, one of the few competitors on the circuit that when put against CMX competitors can consistently defeat them with his traditional routine. There's a lot that have the potential to do it. There's few that do it consistently. Jake Presley does it on a regular basis. In the adult division, however, he'll be competing against only another traditionalist. This will be a non-bladed, the bow that Jake is using, versus bladed, the sword of Alec Jahanbash that's coming up next.
It's kind of interesting because you have Jake Presley competing against Alec Jahanbash, almost shades of Reed Presley competing against his older brother, Shihan Jahanbash.
History repeats itself, right, Mallory?
Over and over, we see it again until we learn the lesson.
And Jake is growing out a bit of facial hair right now. It reminds me of Reed's beard phase.
That was a good phase. Captain America in a beard itself.
Huge jump, and then I love the intensity that Jake shows here. I hope that we got a camera angle of him looking off into that corner with that intense face. And this is right on cue, exactly what I was talking about. Performing a traditional kata, but performing it, putting on a show. Jake Presley's a master of it.
So I got to ask you, one of the things that I have noticed over the 20 plus years that I've been involved in sport karate is that the performance that you mentioned is accented with the wild flying hair. You saw it with Mike Chat when he was a young man. You see it with Jake Presley. You would see, the hair actually telling the story itself in the routine. It's almost like it's meant for me to fail. I couldn't get a 9.8 up there.
Jake Presley, power unmatched in this division with an incredible performance once again.
All right, our next competitor to the stage from Dunbar, California, representing Red Dragon Karate. Please welcome Alec Jahanbash.
Alec Jahanbash, of course, the younger brother of, possibly retired. I'm not sure if Shahan is retired or not. Shahan Jahanbash, but rocking the nice stash this weekend, as you'll see in the close-up of the picture that should be on your screen right now.
And one key difference between Alec and his brother Shaheen is that Shaheen was known for doing the double traditional sword routine. Alec tends to prefer the single sword, and we'll see how that goes for him tonight.
Lots of tradition. Bowing before even beginning the routine.
And that's a trademark of a lot of the Red Dragon Karate black belts. When you see them performing their sword routines, particularly here at the Compete Nationals, that is the standard introduction they all use. So it's cool to see Alec using what is actually taught in their schools. A lot of times competitors modify beyond what their school teaches, but Alec's doing it straight by the book here. Representing the Asian world of martial arts product company. He ki-eyes just like Shaheen. Do you notice that?
They do sound similar. It does remind him of his older brother. Shaheen just recently married, I think during the pandemic.
We noticed that big jump spinning technique there. We saw something similar in Jake Presley's routine. That's the way that a lot of traditional competitors show difficulty to the judges. Those big jump spins right on cue, landing clean. Judges are watching the feet there to see if there's any kind of bobble on the landing. With a sword routine in particular, judges are also going to be looking at the number of times that the competitor sheaths their sword, because that is an opportunity for some mistakes to happen. And then, of course, not only the number of times, but how clean is it. So like right there, we see a flawless sheathing of the sword, and then right back out. Judges are going to give him some difficulty points for doing that. Notice the grip change there as well, having to twirl the sword between the fingers to switch from the forward grip to the reverse grip and vice versa. It's another thing that the judges are going to look at as part of his difficulty score.
It's all in the small details.
All right, let's hear it for Alec Jahanbash.
A strong performance for the hometown hero.
Our final competitor to the stage from Red Dragon Karate, please welcome Kyle Acosta.
So Kyle Acosta taking the stage now as the winner of the Chinese weapons division. It's a little bit of a unique division because it's similar to how it's split up in forms, where you have Japanese forms and Korean forms, and then of course Chinese forms. They do that for weapons as well. And what division that competitor competes in the finals is based on the nature of their performance. If their Kung Fu or Wushu performance tends to favor the CMX side with more flair, they'll compete in that Grand Championship. If their performance is more traditional, like the one we're seeing here, they'll compete in the traditional Grand Championship.
You know, I actually didn't know that. That's a great explainer of the rules. Because I always wondered why you would sometimes have a soft style competitor here versus there, but that now makes total sense.
It is an admittedly subjective rule, but that's the nature of the sport. We have judges. Judges make subjective decisions, and that's part of the game. And a solid performance.
That is Kyle Acosta.
Great to see a unique weapon as well. It's kind of hard to tell from this far back, but it looks like kind of a rope dart meets chain whip. I'd be interested to get an up-close look at that weapon and see exactly what it is that he's using.
You know, I thought it was a chain whip at first because it sometimes has, you have a little bit of a flag at the end, sometimes just so you could see the weapon because it moves so fast. You certainly can hear it. Everyone who has been in the front row when a, chain whip is unsheathed kind of, manages to find themselves in a row or two behind because you can't see the weapon, but boy, you can hear it. I'd also love to get a close-up look and see exactly what what his weapon does look like.
The scores are all 9.99.
Well, now, we were just saying.
Jake Presley with the 9.99s across the board, meaning that in all likelihood, he's going to take this stuff.
There is the possibility of the judges handing out all 10s, and probably not going to happen.
Just a week ago, our 9.97 moved up to adult division of 1. All three of those competitors are awesome. You're a winner whose birthday is tomorrow, Jake Presley.
And as you just heard from Chris Casamassa, Jake Presley's birthday is also tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day for Sport Karate birthdays. We've got Jake Presley's birthday, Sensei John Sharkey's birthday, Richard Plowden's birthday is tomorrow, the great Kalman Choka's birthday is tomorrow. Very big day for Sport Karate birthdays.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just got a note, Jake, the score was for your hair, not your routine. I apologize, I'm sorry. Let's hear from all three of those competitors one more time. Kyle, Alec, Jake, and Seafood, Dennis Brown.
You gotta love how both the house commentary from Chris Casamassa and then the streaming commentary from the two of us both have to mention Jake Presley's hair. Something that we know, I know that Nini, otherwise known as Jake's grandmother, she always tunes into our streams and she's watching from home. She is a huge Rafael Nadal tennis fan. So maybe Jake's growing the hair out to look a little bit more like Rafa. What do you think?
I think, you know what, you might be onto something. There might be something there.
Kasiaskow. Mississippi? That is correct. Representing Team Competitive Edge, please welcome Annabeth A.B. Hedgebeth.
While Annabeth gets ready, I wanted to definitely highlight that that last award was presented by Dennis Brown and the returning this year U.S. Capitol Classics in August in Washington, D.C. I'll be more than happy to see that tournament come back.
One thing to pay attention to as Annabeth takes the stage is her charisma. She puts on a show when she performs. I would almost describe it as a spunk that she has when she enters the ring. Really takes her performance to another level. As you see it a little bit there with that head nod before she gets into this routine. Fast hand combos to get it started. And here we go into the tricking, starting with the aerial, backside 9, hook, 540, clean landing right into the punch and the pose.
You know what? This is reminding me a little bit of shades of another California competitor, Mackenzie Emery, with the tricking and the speed that she does these tricking combinations with, who was also in attendance today.
Certainly some stylistic similarities. Looks like that kick came in a little bit low. She might not have gotten the takeoff that she wanted to on that jump, which limited the height of the kick. That's one of those things that the judges might notice and may open the door for a traditional competitor. We'll have to see. But overall, very solid performance from AB, Annabeth Hedgeman.
All right, let's hear for Annabeth. Our final competitor to the stage from Sunrise, Florida, representing Team Infinity. Please welcome Sofia Rodriguez Flores.
And we have Sofia Flores, but also known as Pia, with her brother DG. DG and Pia have a great YouTube channel. They showcase their vlogs from their traveling experience and training. Both young people are very media savvy. We have them, supporting some of our virtual events. They're great, open. I just think the future is so bright for these two competitors from what they've learned in the martial arts.
We saw this performance from Sofia Rodriguez Flores at the AKA Warrior Cup. One thing we loved about it there was her excellent choreography with the music, the way that the mood of the routine matches the pace of the music. Truly beautifully done.
Definitely well picked out music to choreograph with this routine, as we will see during this entire kata.
Beautiful balanced technique to begin this form, right into the jump front kick.
Just as you mentioned, the tone and the pacing of this music as she began that kick reminded me of almost like a sunrise, like we're truly beginning this form, and then it balances out just in the middle here, and then to continue with the powerful techniques as we reach almost the middle of this kata routine.